Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for a highly anticipated video. Chelsea's strongest lineup, potential strongest lineup for the 2020-21 season. As you guys know, unless you've been living under a bloody rock for the past few weeks, Chelsea have invested very heavily in playing personnel this summer. We've bought some world-class players to build upon a very exciting young team and for Frank Lampard to really start putting in the roots for his Chelsea project that we're looking to build. We're going to build the best starting 11 and then the subs bench as well. I'm going to talk about a few players who I don't think are going to fit the system. And there's obviously going to be a lot of discussion based around this. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below on what you think the strongest lineup is, how some players are going to fit in, how we're going to balance minutes. Chelsea, of course, competing in all competitions this season, back in the Champions League again, unlike some of our London rivals. It's very exciting indeed. But before we get into that, I'd love to ask you to subscribe to GBFC. The season is closing in very, very quickly, and you're not going to want to miss anything. We're going to have loads of content dropping for you guys over the course of the season. Rebrands for some of the favourite series on the channel, the previews, the 6 things we learned. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a trick. Without any further ado, we're going to get up the new graphic. You guys, look at this. It's looking fancy. I want to give a big shout out to my man Bruce. I'll leave a link to him in the description. You should go follow him. He's an amazing graphic designer and a really cool dude, all in all. But we're going to start with the goalkeeper. It's a discussion, this one, and at the moment, Chelsea haven't yet confirmed the signing of Edouard Mendy at the time of me recording this on Friday morning, Bali time, so you guys will still be sleeping whilst I'm recording this one. We're going to start with Kepa in goal. I think at the moment it's, well, I mean, even though he's not preferred compared to Willy Caballero at the end of last season, if Chelsea are going to keep Kepa in this squad, for many different reasons, they can't just put him on the bench for the whole season. I hope that Kepa is going to have the bit between his teeth and he's going to want to really perform this season because he knows he's been underwhelming. So Kepa is the goalkeeper. We're going to start with him. Moving in to the right back position. Now I've built this team based off of a mixture of experience, who I think Lampard's going to pick, and I think the way that we're going to start the season, when everybody is fit and available, I think this will be, in Frank's mind, the strongest team. So in the right back position, we've gone with the captain, Azpilicueta. Again, with so much strength and depth now within this Chelsea side, it could have easily been Reece James. You guys know that I'm a big fan of Reece, but for experience reasons and communication reasons that we're going to get into as we build the rest of this defence, I think Azpilicueta will be one of the best options at right back. He's still the captain at the club, despite Thiago Silva coming in. There were rumours that Lampard wanted Silva to come in and be the captain for this season. Azpilicueta is the captain, that's all confirmed, but I will play Thiago Silva alongside Cesar Azpilicueta. Now, it could be Silva on the left and the other centre-back on the right, but for the purpose of this video and the way that I've lined it up on the graphic, we've gone with Thiago Silva next to Azpilicueta, 2 captains who can really boss this defence. It would probably make a lot more sense, actually, to put Silva on the left, and I've actually gone with Zuma as the other centre-back, and obviously for the sake of this video, it looks like Zuma's on the left, Thiago Silva is on the right, but I think it will be the other way round when it comes to Chelsea having their strongest 11. At the moment, Fikayo Tomori has not yet gone on loan, so maybe we could see Tomori alongside Silva. That would be a great way for Tomori to develop as a defender. But towards the end of last season, I think it was clear to pretty much everybody that Kurt Zouma was the best centre-back at the club, the one performing at the highest level, and I think playing alongside a defender such as Thiago Silva will be a great way for Zouma to really showcase the potential that we know he has. We've also got to remember that communication with Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma is French, Thiago Silva speaks French, very little English, so having these two alongside one another could potentially eliminate some of the communication issues that sometimes makes defenders struggle to play alongside one another. Now the left back, this one is pretty straightforward now. When he's fit, Ben Chilwell's been brought in not to sit on the bench, but to become Chelsea's left back for the future. We saw it in the announcement videos. The way that Chelsea are putting together this transfer, the way that the club is envisaging this signing, is that Ben Chilwell will become Chelsea's left back for many years to come. We've seen him at Leicester, he's had a good couple of seasons, he's England's left back as well, and Ben Chilwell, for 50 million quid, I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he'll certainly develop and elevate his game within this Chelsea side, playing alongside probably better quality players than what's at Leicester. No disrespect to Leicester, they're a very good side. But Ben Chilwell in the left back position, that builds the defence. Now this is where it does start to get very interesting indeed. There are so many players that Chelsea have to choose from in the middle of the park. We could see a 4-2-3-1, we could see a 4-3-3, We could potentially see 3 centre-backs and then wing-backs in like a 3-4-3, 3-5-2. There are so many things that we could see from Chelsea this season. So, of course, I know that not all of you are going to agree with what I've done, but I've come up with my thoughts on what the strongest 11 would be on paper and what I think we could see. Obviously, depending on performance, I've obviously said that Lampard picks his team based off of a meritocracy on who's performing the best. So we will see a lot of changes within this Chelsea side this season. I expect a lot of players to get a lot of minutes based off of all the different competitions we have. I've gone first of all with N'Golo Kante. There are talks that Chelsea might be open to sell Kante if the right bid comes in. There is some news that I didn't address in a news video just yet. The Inter Milan have offered Brozovic and Eriksen for N'Golo Kante. Now, my thoughts on this is that everyone's very quick to write off N'Golo Kante. There were times last season where I did say that he wasn't at his best. It wasn't his best Chelsea season last season, but it was also plagued with injuries. And you see now that N'Golo Kante is back to fitness. We see the performances he put in for France. And if anyone's sleeping on N'Golo Kante, then I think they're crazy. Kante's walks into this Chelsea team, into the midfield, despite all of the quality we have. Kovacic player of the season. Mason Mount, brilliant breakthrough season. Jorginho's still there. You got Havertz in there as well. You got Ziyech who could potentially play in the middle. Ross Barkley, Billy Gilmore. So many players that Chelsea have options for right now. I do think there'll be a couple of midfielders that might leave the club between now and the end of the window. Let me know who you think it might be in the comments down below. But N'Golo Kante is in there. We then move into the other midfielder, Mateo Kovacic, Chelsea's player of the year. It's very easy right now, with all of the excitement surrounding new signings, to think that players like Kovacic might not get many minutes. We saw last season that Kovacic is one of the best transition players in the Premier League. The way that he dribbles the ball out from defence, he can win the ball back, he tackles hard. Last season, Chelsea's player of the season. Mateo Kovacic holds his place for me in the strongest possible lineup for now. And then again, this is where the real discussion comes in. There's a lot of people asking questions about Mason Mount's involvement. Can he play alongside Kai Havertz in a team? I certainly think there's definitely a way that we can fit both Mason Mount and Kai Havertz in the same starting 11. But for the purpose of this strongest lineup video, I've actually put Kai Havertz in the team over Mason Mount for now. However, I think we're going to see Mason Mount play a lot of minutes. And as I've said countless times in the discussions about these new signings in my videos and in the discussions with Eunice, the discussions with Jan here on my channel and their channels, these players that we've been bought in for, they're not to just replace the youngsters and they only had one season at Chelsea after coming up from the academy and then the story ends and they get sold next season. That isn't the case. Frank Lampard knows, and he put a lot of faith in Mason Mount last season. And I know that this season he's going to get a lot of minutes too. But for the sake of this video, someone had to miss out. And I've put Havertz in the team. We know how good he is. We've seen already the amount of plaudits that Kai Havertz is getting in world football is crazy. And it's not just a hype conversation. He's genuinely already performing at a level to suggest that he's a world-class player. And I think that it might take him a bit of time to settle into this Chelsea team. But eventually this season, we're going to see a top-class player. Kai Havertz makes up the midfield. Then we move into the front three, starting on the right-hand side, Hakim Ziyech. We've spoken countless times already, and the proof's already in the pudding. We've already seen him whip the ball in on the right-hand side with his left foot against Premier League opposition. He's currently injured, but when he is fit, I fully expect Hakim Ziyech to be one of the starters in this Chelsea team. Moving over to the left-hand side, we've got Christian Pulisic. Of course, this man, for me, I've predicted that he could be one of the Premier League players of the season this season, as I pull my necklace out on my shirt. Christian Pulisic was one of the best players in the second half of last season, particularly post-coronavirus. Maybe he likes playing in stadiums with no fans. I don't know. I think everyone's excited for fans to be back in the ground. Christian Pulisic, for me, despite Chelsea making these signings, as long as he keeps up the form that we saw at the end of last season, Christian Pulisic is one of the first, if not the first name, on my Chelsea team sheet at the moment. I think he really is that good. And we finish with the striker. Despite Tammy's first season being pretty good at Chelsea, Timo Werner is an elite striker. He's 24 years old. He's already been performing at the highest level in the Bundesliga, and last season in the Champions League he was very decent as well. Timo Werner's been brought in to score goals, to end Chelsea's problem of creating lots of chances but not finishing enough of them so that we draw matches or we lose matches based off of a lack of chance conversion. Timo Werner, I think he's going to be given chances on a plate this season, and I fully expect him to score a lot of goals. Obviously with Tammy, he wants to stay at Chelsea and fight for his place. It's going to be so tough for players to lock down starting minutes in this Chelsea team this season because of the abundance of depth that we have in this Chelsea squad. So we move on to the bench, and because I'm pretty sure that the deal will go through, I've put Mendy on the bench in this video because it does look as if Chelsea are about to agree the fee. Obviously, Werner trying to stay for more money. They want 30 million. I still think Chelsea will get this one over the line. So Mendy's on the bench. Then we've also got Reece James, who of course we know is a very talented player. And I think this season we will see him get more minutes again as things start to shift between Azpilicueta. We could see Azpi play on the right-hand side of a back three, with Reece James being used as more of a wing-back. We could see that at times this season as well, with Frank Lampard's tactical versatility and the way that he likes to line his teams up, depending on the opponents that we're facing. We've then got Rudiger at the back. I've based this off of whether Tomori goes out on loan. I think Tomori will go out on loan, so we've got Rudiger as a centre-back on the bench. We've also got Marcos Alonso, who won't get as many starting minutes this season. He said he's going to be staying at the club, which I think is a great thing, because Marcos Alonso, when called upon, he can get you a goal. And I think this season we might actually see Alonso being used in actually more of a winger's role, as opposed to a wing-back or left-back. I think we could see Alonso come on in matches and play in almost a forward position for Chelsea. He's got an absolute wand of a left foot, and even if we bring him on for a free kick, sounds good to me. And then, of course, the other three players that make up the rest of this bench. I say, of course, because there are some big names that miss out, and we're going to have to address that. Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Tammy Abraham make up my Chelsea bench. Again, I think all of these players will be interchanging. I think we'll see minutes for so many of them this season. It's difficult with this predicted lineup video. It's one of the hardest videos I've had to make because we really do have such a great squad this season. And the notable players that miss out are Billy Gilmour, Jorginho, Ross Barkley. Like, it's tough. It really is tough because I don't know what's going to happen. Of course, we're going to be very lucky if we manage to have all of our players available at once. It is going to give Super Frankie Lampard a massive selection headache. Billy Gilmour, we saw before he got his injury that he really does look like he's ready to fit in this Chelsea team. But with the midfielders we have, I firmly expect Billy Gilmour to stay at the club and develop the way that he did last season around the other talented midfielders. I think we're going to see some of these players leave. Jorginho, Barkley, even though Ross Barkley was good at times last season, the thing with Jorginho, for me, I want to discuss this one a little bit. I don't think Jorginho fits in with the high-octane playing style plan that Frank Lampard will be looking to implement with this very attack-minded Chelsea team. Jorginho does bring balance, and I think if he does stay at Chelsea, we will see him used in certain matches, maybe against some of the bigger teams where Chelsea need to be patient on the ball. Jorginho is a very good player. I don't want to write him off. I know that he's got a lot of fans who get very heavy in the criticism if people don't like Jorginho. I'm not saying I don't like Jorginho. I just think that the way that Lampard wants to play, the players that we've got on this screen right now, I think they fit that bill a little bit more. Maybe we see Jorginho leave. Maybe we see Barkley leave. I don't know. Gonna wrap this video up here though. Let me know what you think of my predicted lineup for this season. This is the strongest lineup. It's not who's gonna start against Brighton. There's injuries that we've got to think about now, which again, pretty much reiterates everything that I've said in this video. The Chelsea squad, it may have a lot of depth and not everyone's always gonna be able to start, but it's a team effort and obviously everybody knows their role. And I think that Frank Lampard will be picking his team based off of who performs the best week in, week out. And it doesn't matter if we have these personal affiliations to certain players or we've got a love for some of the young players because of the Chelsea roots, the Chelsea heritage. Chelsea are a team that want to win. We want to be challenging this season, and whoever's playing the best is going to be the players that start. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button. If we can hit 6,000 of the mother truckers, then that would be absolutely fantastic. I don't know why I said that. Follow me on Instagram at Mr. George Benson. Same on Twitter too. Links down below. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.